Well, welcome everybody to Leadership Lab. My name is Aaron Caview, and I will be hosting along with Alex Sabatelli-Reger this evening. And just so you know, Leadership Lab is the purpose of this call is to really help you get from team manager to director. So even if you aren't a team manager yet and you're still just trying to get team manager, there's going to be some really good, valuable information here and lots of learning. So how the calls will kind of work is basically for the first 15 minutes. We're going to go over some topics tonight. They're going to be, we're going to talk about 331, and we're going to actually talk about the onboarding process of new team members. And then the remainder of the call will be taking questions. So I put a challenge out there last Wednesday. I'm going to put the same challenge out this week. Is if you're on this call, we really would like to hear from you guys what the things are that you need to help make your business successful. So I challenge each one of you. You're on this call. Please put a question forward, and we'll make sure that we get it answered. If you hear somebody else ask a question and there's something that comes up for you through that, please put it in the chat also, and we'll make sure that we get it answered. So I challenge you by the end of the call, please try to put a question in there and get all your questions answered so we can really help you get to that next level in your business. Okay. So we're going to start it off tonight with Alex. We're just going to cover 331 and the important things for you, not only you, but your new team members and how you should really be directing them towards 331. And we'll go through that. And then, like I said, we'll chat a little bit about the onboarding process and then go through some of your questions.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for the intro. So yeah, we were just discussing sort of, okay, well, how do we really support you guys? If theoretically you're at the level of manager or above and you're heading up the marketing plan and you're wanting to grow your teams, Build 331 is what we're really talking about here, is this website and utilizing this website because we can lead a horse to water, we can't make him drink. So we kind of really need to know what it is we're leading them to and try to get specific about where we're going to lead somebody to, according to where they are in their learning process, in what they feel, where their strengths are, their weaknesses are. And so I think, as I'm just really riffing from the source here, I think what's most important is that you really build rapport with your new person. Like, we have a cookie cutter system, but none of us are cookie cutter. We're all very unique. We're here for our own reasons. So exploring the why, I think, is really important. If you look, and just to remember, and I will make a request to have it placed on build331.com, but the training that I did with Launch Lab, the very first, I think it was the 3rd of January, it was the first Launch Lab of the year. I did a whole thing on the passion path process, which is really uncovering your North Star, your deepest motivator. And it's nebulous in the sense that you can apply anything in your whole life to it, but it's so uniquely that person's that it really helps them to set a goal. And so when you're looking to build and bring new team in and to lead them to things, it's so important to be guiding them according to what they want, because they are independent reps, just like you are, but we work together as a team and synergistically. So you've gone before them, so it makes you a leader just because you've gone before them. Although leadership is not, it's earned, it's not a position necessarily. Just know that if the person that you're leading has much higher goals or motivators or even experience than you do, please keep reaching up till you find somebody who is more of a vibrational match, if you will, to be able to lead them with you, so that you can learn in that process, but not where we don't hold them back to what we know. And so that's just a thought that popped in. So yeah, I think doing that why work and kind of understanding what their first goals are, what it would mean to them, what would they do if they reach that goal? Do they see anything beyond that at this time? And then see their level of this is all kind of part of onboarding. I think we'll just kind of mix it all together, is kind of where are people in terms of when do they want to do their work? What's their daily method going to look like for them? How many hours do they want to dedicate towards this in a week? And can we help them carve out that time consistently through the week rather than just all one day and then nothing all week? Because they'll have much better results to just chunk out a little bit of time each day to make a few calls or reach out than they will just doing it once or twice. And it's much easier to have life get in the way when you only have one day set aside. So that's another kind of precursor, I would say, for how do we set somebody up and know where to lead them when we get to Build 331. So talking of Build 331, it's the team website that is all around the business. And Onyx and her leaders put this together from their own trial and error and learning and their own success, I should say, which is always, it's a stumbling forward, don't ever beat yourself up if there's no failure. Then they built this whole site together, put it together in the most succinct steps possible. And it's still going to be suggestion, and you can make it your own. We don't need to recreate the wheel. This is what made Onyx successful and her teams. And so really the closer you can follow this to the letter, the better. But you want to bring your own unique flavor and style to it. So I'm going to share screen, and you guys know where to find this, build331.com. And let's see if I have the right, yeah, we'll do it this one. And so, yeah, this is basically the homepage right here. Let me bring it over to the other side. So I'm looking at the screen. No, it's too small.
Yeah. As you're going through this, Alex, just when you're bringing somebody on, is this your process when you're onboarding new team members that want to do this business? Are you walking through this with them, or are you
not necessarily, because I also have a training in here of what Build 331 is and what 331 is. And so it's like, everyone's going to be unique. And this is why I was saying to build that rapport with your person, get a sense of what they want to create. We don't want to, send them somewhere if they're not a self-starter. If they need a little hand holding, then absolutely take them here. You could do it over a Zoom together. You could do it over the phone together. But if it's somebody who's more of a self-starter, then you can just literally come into this site, go to the menu, go to step 1, and you could even grab this page. You could grab the URL, step 1, and send it to them, and send it over their text if you want, and have them open it up and say, this is what we do. And at the bottom of this page, you're going to see training in here all about it. Patching tips, how to build a business, the convention. I've got my training in here on this system of Build 331. So you could send them the specific training and say, if you want to watch this and get a sense of how the things work, all the steps are then built out here inside this page. So we don't want to overwhelm them, take them through the whole thing, but lead them where they need to go. So whether it's creating that list, here's that very first step, create your list. Right? Now, this person might be like, already, I don't want to do the whole list thing and yada, yada. Well, here's another place you could take them. Go to grow your team, and you could go to, where is it? Soulful selling. How about that? So how about a different way of selling? Just introduce them to the idea of, no, don't worry. This isn't necessarily going to be like hit them over the head selling and burning out all your friends and family. You can also take a whole other approach with this and learn how to dialogue, how to ask amazing questions, when to present, when not to present, when there's no opportunity really to present. And that's where this series might be something that can soften things up for somebody. So everyone's going to be super unique. But yeah, I don't know, that just felt like something I needed to say, because some people really shut down if they've been in other companies before. Maybe they didn't find other, great success, and you immediately start right in with make your list, and we're gonna burn through all your friends and family. Don't worry, step aside next if they say no. I mean, it's like, some people can do that. I think a lot of people have had that experience, and we want to try to apply, maybe approach this a little bit differently. However, the steps are really still the same. It's just you can flavor it a little bit differently. So I'm going to stop with that right now. What do you think of that, Erin, so far? Here's that step 1.
Yeah, so I think one thing is, I think I agree with you. I think a lot of people get caught up in this idea of this list, right? Like this, they have to do this list, they have to go to these people. I would say a majority of the people that I've talked to personally about it aren't on a list. It's people that I connect with when I'm out, when I'm at the beach or in the gym, and I think a lot of people get hung up on this idea that it's just this list, and they kind of get a little intimidated by the list. So don't get so intimidated by the list. Just be open to chatting with people, and if something comes up in that conversation, you don't have to force it. If something comes up naturally and there's an opportunity to share something with them, that's a great place to share it, because there's really no pressure if they're not a friend or a family. These are great people to practice on, because you have nothing to lose. You don't really know them, right? And you can share about the patches. So especially if you're at the gym, or you're at, somewhere where people are being active, or Wherever the situation, something arises and you have the opportunity to chat with somebody about it, take it, because it's great practice, and there's no pressure. So
Correct. Correct. Totally. Yeah, it's just even the whole idea of like I love a list when it comes and with the soulful selling series, just so you know that there is a process in that where you do a list. It's like 100 people and but on basically you're doing a sheet of paper for every single person. It's not just a list. It's like a book. You're creating a book of all the information you know about that person, what you love about them, what challenges you know they have, your history, like anything you know about the person, so that when you do go to approach them, your intention is so clear about how you want to help them, why you're thinking of them, and it just takes it puts so much more love behind the whole thing. And so, that it's just just a different approach to it. And even if you're scrolling through Facebook or you're coming across, like I love it when you meet people just on the fly. I mean, that's just such an organic way to share and it's there's no anxiety around it because it's not somebody that it has like if you don't ever see them again, it's not going to be the end of your life, right? So you're not burning bridges anywhere. But I do like just when you're scrolling through Facebook or you're looking at birthdays for the day or whatever, when those people pop in your mind that actually give you a little hit, like, oh, that's the person you want to write down. You want to really listen to those nudges because your heart will always tell you where you're supposed to go if you listen. So when you feel that expansion in your heart, when you see a name, that's somebody you want to contact that day. That could be one of your 3 for the day. That might be how you do it, And I super, super agree that's the way to lead it. You don't, if you're looking at a list of people that you came up with and you feel closure in your solar plexus or in your heart, just any tightness at all, go do a quick little walk, do a little breath work or a quick meditation and approach it differently. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? How much do I love these patches? How much have they changed my life? Who can I bless today? Put the person in front of me to bless today, and then reapproach that list or reapproach Facebook or whatever social media or going out that day. Put somebody in front of me today that I can help. Show me, give me a nudge, expand my heart so I can feel who that person is. Again, these are all like a little bit metaphysical, but it's true. We are all energy and we are vibing higher when we wear this patch. And so we're gifting people with, a frequency boost. And I love that. I love to think about that. Like, who can I boost up today? And it makes it a lot more fun that way. But, giving your new person, plugging them in and letting them know we can be flexible about this. There's different ways that we can do this. Not that everyone's going to be afraid of it or anything, but these are just guidelines and steps that have worked for others that we absolutely encourage, and we can work with it together. And so the getting started here, so I went over to step 9, grow your team, right? This is where you guys are now, right? You're at manager or above. And growing your team is really the way to kind of take a peek at, let me put my glasses on, at kind of the flow of things, right? Who do you know? You get your list, you've got your build 331, favorite resources, you're equipping yourself with what you need. You know your commitment, like I mentioned. Can I connect with this many people per day? Can I follow up with that many? Or when's my DMO going to happen? My daily method of operation. Can I block that out of my schedule? Can I commit to that? Can I reward myself for that if I need to? Like what do you need to keep you on track with that? And then knowing what you need to know. And this is where you would start to plug in and plug your people in to learning what they need to learn to get started. So you definitely want to get people onto the different calls. There are, I think it's on the bottom here. There's this checklist, by the way, you can download that PDF. The back office, if you need to learn anything about that, is there. But there's also the resource, I think it was under the resources. Here it is under resources. Here's this PDF that you want to download and get to your person, your new people, so that they can get plugged in to everything. And then that way, when they're specifically like on the YouTube, they're going to be able to learn about Launch Lab, for instance. How do they get started? How can we get them plugged into a community? Because most people do this because they love community. And so getting that those new people plugged into all these little things and knowing where you're going to find the steps. And it's all in here. I mean, there's really not much else to teach, but what's in here, except for when we get onto these calls and we can unpack stuff a little bit more deeply. But I love this, getting ready to build, calling your sponsor to create a plan, setting up 3-way calls with your sponsor. We've done a class on that in Launch Lab about the 3 ways. I think it was like one of the first couple. We'll get back to that again. We'll do it again, and how to support people on those calls. It's also in the natural selling series. talking about that. Keep adding to your who do you know list, right? The goal, 100 people. Absolutely. Complete build331.com 9-step training. Just go through that step by step. Work with your sponsor if you have any questions about anything with all of that. But be your own leader as well. Take initiative and know that if I'm learning something new each day, if I'm doing the 331 each day, or as many days that I've carved out for myself, and I'm showing up and bringing people to events, then you're going to move forward. You just will. And so that's the completing this 9-step training and then committing to the system daily. And again, download this PDF here, print it, stick it somewhere where you really are looking at it, anything that's going to remind you of that. And what's the goal going to do for you? What would it mean for you to hit milestones along the way? Can you set little milestones? Maybe you do, you want to do 4 silvers a month, or maybe you want to bring in 8 silvers a month for the first 3 months, or, set whatever feels like a really good goal for you. I really like to just see it done and then let it unfold in terms of like, is it going to be 1 a week or what have you? I just like to see it done and let things just happen as they do. But I like to also say this or something better, so that you're not limiting what you can do. And really knowing, like getting into the feeling place of reaching that, building in a reward for yourself if you want to in that, and knowing what's beyond it. So I say stretch your goal, but don't splatter. Just get to where you're pushing the edge, but there's something in you that knows you can do it. So you're not going so far and then letting yourself down and then feeling like you're letting other people down because you got all excited. Be realistic, but stretch it, stretch it, stretch it.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what I want to say about this for now. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, just a question, Alex, and we get this quite a bit is like, and I know other people have different strategies, but when it comes to the 331 and reaching out to 3 people, are you trying to give patches away, or are you just trying to introduce people to the product? Because I know there's different ways to kind of.
Yeah, it totally depends. It's in the beginning I did. I was I think I've mentioned this before. I had an entire big table in my office at the time that was like a dining room table. and I had a whiteboard on both opposite walls, and I had patches everywhere. I went diamond and I opened up all my stuff. I printed out a bunch of things. I had envelopes and I had my list, and I was calling people and letting them know, because I lived remotely. I said, I found this thing. I'm sending it to you. I want you to learn about it. You're going to flip. I don't know if you're going to feel it or not, but I want you to experience it. There's great information inside, but I'm going to text you a website in the meantime. And I just told them that. And they're like, oh my gosh, you sound so excited. I'm like, wait until you learn about this. You're going to want it immediately. So I did that. And I think I was sending out 3 to 5 patches at the time. Now it's like 2 to 3. That's it.
Yeah.
But I don't do that so much anymore because I did that first big outreach. So now I just always have 3 envelopes in my purse at all times. So if I give some out one day and I don't give them out, I'm not out every single day, but there's always 3 clean envelopes with 3 patches in them. Or if I don't have 3 patches in them, I'll just have one of these and I'll decide whether I'm going to put one on them and give them 1 or 2 more, what have you. So like today, I had my nails done today. And I was able to patch 2 of the ladies there, which was awesome. I wasn't expecting that. I couldn't reach into my purse for a little while, but at the end, I was able to go ahead and patch them and get their information. And that was super fun. So, sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't.
How did that come up for you?
I just text them information.
How did that come up? How did that come up today when we were talking with the ladies? Like, how did that space for? How did it open up?
How did it come up? We were talking. One of the ladies was she was complaining about something with her health, and I said, "Oh gosh, I might be able to help you with that. Tell me a little bit more about that." It was with her skin, and she had all this like kind of discoloration and like dryness and stuff like that. And I said, I don't know if you've heard of stem cells before. And she's like, "Oh, of course, yes, I know stem cells." And I said, "Well, have you ever done any kind of treatments or anything like on your face or your hair or whatever?" And that's kind of like where it kind of went. I said, "Because I found this technology is really, really cool." And so that's just kind of how it opened up. And, what? Tell me more. So I said, "Well, I have some, I can give you 1 or 2 to try if you want to, look it up. I'd love to give you, if I can get your information, I'll follow up with you in a couple of days." And so it was like super easy, but then I didn't stay on it for long. I didn't want to like keep going,
You don't need to, right? Like that's the
no.
whole
Yeah.
Like if they keep on asking you questions, you can answer them, but it
Right.
doesn't need to be some kind of
Right.
push.
But
So
it's not duplicable,
yeah,
right? So I know too much about it that I could sell it without a website. And that's a total disservice to them, to the system, to being able to duplicate it, for them to even see themselves sharing it with anyone else. They're going to be like, I don't know how to answer that, you know? So
yeah,
I have
yeah,
to really bite my tongue. Like it's hard for me to not just sell it straight up because
yeah.
it's easier to just sell it, but it's not for my business. And so, and that's been a problem for me in other businesses before too, because I really do like teaching, you know, and I've been in nutrition and health for so long that as a teacher and a coach that it's really hard not to. So I will just caution you, please say less, say less, say less, and let the website do the work for sure.
Well, I think the tag team that Melissa and I have is I talk to a lot of people and I just, hey, my wife will follow up with you and she'll get you the
Oh,
badges.
that's
I
so
just
awesome.
literally talking to a good friend of mine the other day, and
That's great.
his wife unfortunately came down with rheumatoid arthritis,
Uh-huh.
and we just got on this topic of stem cell patches, and sure enough, he's super interested, wants to take a shot and try them, see if they can help his wife, and
Yep.
but it's great. It's an easy we a short give him a short explanation about it, and then
Yep.
I just tell him most with them. So
Yep.
yeah,
And then punt them over to her. She can take care of it. Well, and I will say
okay.
this too, because it typically will come up that you're dealing with a specific issue somebody's complaining about, right? Like the rheumatoid arthritis or like this lady's skin issue. And I just say, you know, I don't even go into try it. I basically say, hopefully it'll work with that. I know it's gonna help you with a million other things. And so wait till you see all the different things it can do. And it'll be really cool to see what it'll do for that main issue that you have. So again, it's like so much more, you know, than just the one thing. It's like, oh, I happen to have this one patch just for exactly what you're complaining about. It's more like when you see how this patch helps to facilitate your body's healing, your body's ability to heal itself like it used to, you're going to be amazed at how many ways that that can show up. And I'll share a website with you that has most of that on there, and you can dive into it. And I'll give you a couple, you know, in the meantime to try out. So, anyways, that's all kind of the getting started stuff. But it's important that our new people are plugged into calls like this and to the trainings, and so that's not just, oh yeah, just patch some people. Well, what do I say? How do I feel confident in that? You know, you want that engagement. It looks like there's a question there. Um, so basically that's when it comes to that new person coming in, it's again, get to know their why, get to know how much time they want to put into it and where they want to aim for. Um, you know, so you're able to support them with their own goals, not with what you want them to do. That's super important. And that you check in with them about that. When do you guys want to connect with each other? Um, and then you want to lead them to the appropriate sites and events to be a part of, and then make sure that you are reminding them of those things via text, or maybe you set up a group. I know that Melissa and Erin have a WhatsApp group for their people, and that's a way to keep people motivated and share celebrations or whatever. Or of course you can use the Facebook groups, and you can create groups and all kinds of things like that, which I think will segue into this question about groups
Yeah.
that I can
Yeah,
see here.
just before we jump into that, just a quick
Yeah.
question. It's come up before. If someone has a specific diagnosis, like even just like the one that I suggested to you,
Right.
that my friend's wife has, are you talking about other patches outside of X39 if they're just getting started, or are you just getting them
No.
going with X39? Especially if there's a product that would help specifically with
Yeah.
what's going.
Yeah, I'm still going to give them the flagship. I really am,
Yeah.
because the X39 is going to do so much systemically all around. I don't want to confuse the issue. I will tell them we do have other patches. Let's see what this does first, because this covers the bases. And then we can always look to add that for your first month's auto ship or what have you. Let's give it 30 days on just the X39. Um, you know, and then we can add something else. Like for instance, glutathione, right? Glutathione, it goes up 30% with X39. And if you know that by watching the calls that I do each week, then you can state that like, hey, we know there's a rise in glutathione. She says it's our master antioxidant. And so we need to drink a lot of water. And that can help get the toxins out of our cells. That might really help you with that issue. If that's not enough over time, we actually have a patch that was specifically designed for glutathione, but it goes up 300%. Now that could put somebody in a healing crisis. I don't want to put somebody on glutathione who is super toxic because they may not be able to get rid of all that stuff that's now just been released, right? So you got to be careful a little bit with some of the, the really high elevated states that, you can put somebody in. So you want to kind of slow them in. That's part of my.
Yeah. No, that's great. That totally makes sense. And I think also separating it too, right? Allowing them just to try the X39, get the results that they get from X39, and then maybe layer on the glutathione.
Yeah, not everybody can afford a bunch of patches. And if they don't know what's doing what, they're going to throw it all out at the same time when they can't afford it, instead of staying on the one main patch, which is just a tragedy, total tragedy. When they get everything and then they're like, I can't afford it. And they just stop everything. No, don't do that.
Yeah, so why don't we jump into a couple of these questions, and then I have a couple of questions from last week we can cover also. But yeah, everybody, if you're still on the call, please just throw in any questions. If Alex covered anything there, please put them in there because they definitely help other people with their business also. So how do you use groups on Facebook to help people? Is there a PowerPoint we can use to do a presentation? So maybe let's cover the first one. How do you use groups on Facebook to help people?
That's actually going to be a question. That's more of a question for Melissa, who's on a plane, but you could probably help with that. I don't really do that. I do have a group. Is it a group? No, it's just a business page. I used to use groups in a past business before and would use it exactly the way that the group is used with Quantum Team. So where I was just doing celebrations and letting people know what was happening and things like that. It wasn't necessarily an education group for customers. And what I know Melissa's doing and a couple of other people, they're creating pages where they're dropping their new prospects and customers in to learn about the product. So they're sharing testimonies in there, information about the different products, things like that. And then they can invite people to the group accordingly, very different than a team group. So there's two different kind of groups there. That's what I know, but what do you say?
Yeah, for the groups, definitely. I think just if you want to do it on Facebook, just tap into the Quantum Team. Facebook was already created there, right? Like no need to reinvent the wheel. But I think one of the unique things Melissa did start for our group is she started the WhatsApp group, which I think is really good because people can really ask some questions quickly. And if she doesn't answer them, somebody else can answer them. And it's just quick support. It's right on people's phones. I think that's more powerful than trying to go and starting your own Facebook group personally, but people can do, you guys can do whatever you want, but I think that's been pretty successful and people getting feedback right away. And then as far as a presentation, I really
is on the website. There's one on the website. Yeah. I'm still looking for it right now. Go ahead.
I think just this, I'm not too sure what page it's under, but I think Alex will get it and then just drop it in the chat here for you for a presentation. So, but yeah, the other piece besides that WhatsApp group was just creating your own Instagram page or your Facebook page. And the idea around that is just creating some content that your team members can use. And obviously you can tap into the one that Melissa's created to share it on your own individual page, or create your own group page too and share some of that information. But it's just a great way to educate yourself and then also help your team members with content that they can push out through social. So
totally. I don't remember. I'm not able to find really quickly. I know the presentation is on Quantum. It's on Build 331. But I do want to share screen one more time here because I do want you guys to see some of these other things that I think are important for you to download and have as you're bringing your team in. Right now I'm just in step 8, excuse me, on build your team. Where is it? No, it's comp plan, excuse me. You want to go ahead and download this double-sided PDF to be able to walk people through the basics of the compensation plan. If you don't understand it, totally fine. You can literally download this, send it over to them digitally, and then send them a replay of one of the Wednesday or Monday calls so that they have it in front of them where I kind of go through it a little bit, or you can send them one of our compensation plan videos right from here, or you can sit down and do it with them together. But these are important PDFs to have to show to people. You also have down here the 3 steps, right? Getting to manager, which is the first goal, getting to director, the second goal, getting to senior director and above, the third goal. How it discusses a little bit about having an auto ship going, things like that, what to do at the end of the month, yada, yada. Some more resources here in different languages at the bottom. So just, peruse this and make sure you know what's where. I know that my presentations are on here, but I don't know where it actually is right now to download. Patch 3, they ask, share, give, follow up. Oh, maybe it's under resources. Hold on, here we go. So you can get this here, corporate. No, it's not there either. Steps. Anyways, we'll find it. We'll go to another question.
Can you go back to that other page and just drop that link in the chat for everybody?
This one?
Just so that,
Step 8?
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, step 8.
Okay.
Whatever.
Got it.
Perfect.
All right. So what was another question while I'm looking for?
The next question was, just let me pull this up. Was are we now allowed to speak freely about stem cells and phototherapy on social media? We are from Canada.
Yes.
As far as I know now, like the rules are that you can speak freely about it. So there's yeah.
You can now. Yes.
Yeah.
And it has to do with the supplements that that are coming out. I don't know if you guys were on the conference the other day. When was it? Saturday morning. Actually, it was for a few hours. It was super cool. And he talked about the new supplements. There's going to be one for the daytime and one for nighttime, and the ingredients that are in them that are really there to enhance, obviously, X39 and how it works in the body, but then all of the patches. And he goes through it's just, I know that presentation is going to be available somewhere soon. But nonetheless, because David has created these supplements to go with the products, we now can, it's kind of a loophole that we now can actually talk about stem cells, stem cell activation in particular, because we have this extra support that makes it where the GHK combined with the copper and these different mechanisms can happen. Because if you don't have enough copper, you're not going to get the same results. I always have my new customers get a copper supplement. I've been doing that since I got started. When I heard David say it once, I'm like, I want my customers to get results. This means all my reps know it too, because it's how I started them. I'm like, get yourself some copper glycinate, but we're soon going to have the supporting products. And that is, again, what unlocked the ability for us to continue to talk about stem cells and stem cell activation in particular, was because we now have that support that's there, and that'll be there soon.
Alex, can you just speak on that? Just because I'm not too sure everyone knows that specifically, but yeah, just about copper real quick.
It's just, if you don't have enough circulating copper in your body, a lot of people will take zinc, and zinc will actually, if you take a lot of zinc, which people were doing, especially around COVID, to support their immune system, zinc actually will counteract and lower your copper volume, I guess you could say, in your body. And people are taking a lot of zinc. And so we have very little copper. And even still, copper just wasn't known to be as great as it is in the body. And so they kind of need to both be there. And so to take 15 milligrams of zinc every day, fine, but 2 to 4 milligrams of copper glycinate in particular will help to bring enough copper into the body so that when you put the patch on and GHK goes up in the first 24, 48 hours, it's binding with copper that's circulating in your body to create GHK copper peptides. If you don't have enough copper in your body, you're not going to produce as many copper peptides, and therefore you're not going to get the same results or activity as you would when you have enough copper. And copper in general is really excellent. And there's a book by Lauren Picard that I highly recommend that you get and learn about GHK and GHK copper peptides. I believe you can find it well, I got it on Amazon. But I think a picture of it or some information about it is on startx39.com. But educate yourself, learn about it, not to teach everyone else, but just to know it and to have it kind of embedded in you. Because when you really understand all the implications of GHK and GHK copper peptides, it's really amazing. It's incredible. I mean, it's really exciting, and it will activate you just knowing that as you go out and share, because your knowing will come through with such conviction and belief. but yeah, I think it's very important. And when somebody comes back to you, they're like, I'm just not feeling it. It's been 30 days. I'm like, did you get the copper? If you didn't get the copper, get the copper, you know? And I literally just tell them, we just go to Amazon. Pure Encapsulations is my favorite brand for no reason. I don't get anything back from them. It's just a really high quality brand. And it's like $10, copper glycinate.
Nice,
So,
nice. Deb has another question
okay.
here. Has a
What is it?
question. What advice would you offer someone that has night sweats after wearing X39? And so just to be clear, Deb, are they wearing X39 at night, or they're getting night sweats because they've been wearing it during the day and then they're just getting sweats at night? So maybe you could just throw that in the chat just to
Right.
have some clarity.
How long have they been using it and getting this? Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't, I'm not saying I have an answer. It's just if it's just starting or something, because my first thought is, okay, how old is the person? Are they going through hormonal change? If it's somebody who's starting menopause and then it could be reversing a little bit, they might be going, because I've heard incredible things around people who were having hot flashes. I mean, I've had many customers that are like, I was having 50 hot flashes and I'm having one. They're like, what? I can't say that to
yeah,
everybody, but it's an
yeah,
incredible testimony that's way more common
yeah,
than me hearing them getting them. So yeah, I'm not sure how else I would
yeah.
answer.
So she's saying that they're in their 30s,
Mhm.
was on the patch for a month and stopped.
Yeah, I don't know if it's related or not. I really don't. That's yeah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't know. The only thing I can think of would be a hormonal rebalancing or something that could be happening, but I've never heard of that particular side effect. I would say maybe not take it, not use it for a little while, see if it normalizes, and then try it again and see if it happens again. But healing crises is very,
yeah,
I
yeah. She
wouldn't say
said
crisis, but
very
healing is, yeah. I would say that it's probably part of healing, honestly, and coming back into a balance. There's so many different things that can happen and systems that are coming back into balance. When that happens, there's going to be a lot that wants to move out, and there's going to be stuff that it's going to be very unique,
yeah,
very unique. I still cannot
yeah.
find.
Uh,
Driving me nuts.
Jane had a question. Do you go to stores or businesses I'm assuming to promote X39?
Yes, I do sometimes. Not, I wouldn't say stores and regular businesses. No, because that's not my store. And that would be kind of weird to just go in and start selling my own thing in somebody else's store. But if I were going to the owner and I felt that it would be synergistic with what they're offering, then yes. So in general, though, I tend to go more towards health professionals, if anything, or I'll go into like a med spa, hair salons, nail salons, places where people have, they're interacting with clients all day and they're hearing about their issues, acupuncturists, massage therapists, chiropractors, PTs, all of these places. I would say absolutely, it's very synergistic. And that's exactly how I say it. I'm like, can I speak with the office manager? You want to go straight to the office manager first and say, hey, I have a product that I think would be extremely beneficial for your clients and really synergistic with what you're doing. I'd love to set up an opportunity to sit down and present this to you guys. Oops. And they'll be like, well, what is it? And I'll say, well, it's basically a stem cell activation patch that is basically can just be retailed out of your store, and it can also be directly shipped to your customers, especially during times with shutdowns and things like that. So that's where going to stores is really kind of fun. And actually, let me show you what I have. So I have this little binder that I created that has in it an older presentation. If I can find this darn presentation for you guys, I would give it to you. It's the one that I do on Mondays and Wednesdays. But I have this older presentation that I downloaded from the back office, which you guys, there's a presentation there. You can just download it. I had it printed and put into a 3-ring binder of X39. And this is the one I used to do. So I still have that. I have that in my binder. I have my own brochures in there. I have sampling envelopes, got a sleeve of X39 ready to go in case they want to buy it, to play around with it with their clients. And then I have the entire Diamond book or Story of X39 book in here. You can see it. So I can take them to my favorite pages, by the way, which are these right here. I don't know the number. GHK, a better way to benefit from stem cell science. I'll just literally look at these and I'll say, if you want me to just photocopy them and leave a couple pages with you, I certainly can, things like that. So having something like this handy and ready so that you can present on a second with somebody like that, I think would be really helpful. All right.
Nice. Okay. Perfect. Hopefully that answers it. Leon just re-asked, I meant prospecting using Facebook groups. Yeah, I think you can do prospecting in Facebook groups. I think you just have to be mindful of some of the rules about certain Facebook groups. They don't necessarily want a lot of stuff to be promoted, but just be cautious of that. But I'm sure that's a great way, especially when it comes to health products. It's a great way to connect with people and network for sure.
It's
For sure.
tricky. Imagine yourself having your own group. Let me just say this real quick. If you had your own group and people started posting about their businesses in your group, so you want to switch places and kind of make a decision according to that. However, commenting on other people's comments, building relationships with people in the group that are like-minded, and then taking it to private message, now you have an opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Or even the other opportunity of instead of just trying to connect with people too, is maybe even connect with the Facebook group admin and ask if you can do a presentation. That might be a great way to get in front of a lot of people. So Stella just had a question. Is there a frequently asked questions resource we can access? As she's just saying, for example, if someone has if someone has samples and says they didn't notice a difference, is there a resource that has a list of responses where we can simply copy and paste them and kind of make them our own? But there's some FAQs on 331, is there not?
I don't know, because I usually just kind of answer. I haven't really, that's a good question. In terms of like, almost like canned responses, if somebody says this, then say that. Yeah, I don't know. FAQs, there might be in the 331. Let me look. Yeah, with ask, share, give, follow up, invite. No, not really there. I mean, I think this is some of the kind of things that you're going to learn by listening in on calls like this and calls like on Launch Lab, because so much of it has to do with framing it to begin with and how you share in the first place so that they don't have expectations specifically around, the sample products. I'm like, hey, you might be a one patch wonder. You might be one of the 10% that feels it in a couple of days. I just want you to actually just experience it and just know you're getting a glow up whether or not you feel it. But while you have it on you, I want you to learn about it, and then you'll probably be ready to get started once you dive in. So I really don't ever get that objection anymore because I set it up that way. Yeah, but I would say I would agree that when I was sending 5 out in the very beginning, 3 or 5, the more you give them, the more they're going to expect something. And it's still not realistic that everyone's going to feel it with 5 patches. So save your money, and don't do that. Don't give them 5 unless you want to spend that much. But no canned responses that I can think of.
Yeah, there's nothing on 331 where there's common asked questions that are kind of there, are there?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, but I'm not seeing it. Like ask, share, it's just not really there. But again, this is a great opportunity to get them on the phone with a sponsor, with an upline, to ask to help with those questions and get that support. It's a really, really good. You know what? Great question. I'm not really sure. Let's get on the phone with Alex, or let's get on the phone with my friend who got me started. She's been doing it longer than me. She'll probably have answers. Great opportunity to get on the phone with someone. Yeah, I'm having the hardest time finding what I'm looking for some reason just today. So we will figure out where the presentation is. It's driving me nuts. We still have some time. What else? Send me another question.
Yeah, and she also had a question covering the cost, meaning learning about the different ways to purchase the patches. Just wanting to know where she can find some resources on the different ways to
purchase. So that's when you want to go to step take the order, step 6. And there's an order form there. That's what you want to use for that. There's actually a video that Onyx did just, in fact, I think it posted just a couple days ago on YouTube, talking about how she uses the order form. She actually will download it. So it's step 6 on build331.com. She'll download it and she's got it on her phone, and then she will text it over to her person and say, this is all the information I'm going to need. It shows the different packages and such, which also are walked through every Monday and Wednesday on the call that follows this one. And you can just let them know. You can either fill it out and send it back to me, or this is the information I'm going to need to gather from you, and I'll just place the order for you. She always takes the order on the phone. I always take the order on the phone. I never send people to my website to take the order. Because they just will typically step aside and just not get to it or what have you. And I don't want to be chasing them afterwards and having to sell them again. I want to get them while they're excited, get the information and get them in. So yeah, that's all of there. You'll also find order forms with preferred customers in there, Spanish order forms, the money back guarantee is all on that page. Yep.
So Stella's just asking if someone asks what's the cost and won't get on a call with my mentor, is there kind of a canned response that we can just send them the order form? Like what would you suggest if they don't want to, they just, hey, what's the cost?
Yeah.
This,
well, I'll just
can you
tell
just kind
them.
of give me the information
I'll
versus
tell them straight up. Yeah, I'll tell them what it costs. It's $150 if you want it for just 1 month. You can get it sent every month for $99 plus tax and shipping, or you can become a wholesale/brand partner. No obligation to sell, but you certainly can if you want to, and you can get the best deals with more bulk pricing. 3 for the price of 2. You could get 5. Bonus sleeve. Let me send you the order form so you can see what I need to gather, and you can make your decision. Something like that. Or you can just send it over and say, let's walk through it together.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, Stella, answers your question.
There's patching tips, by the way, in here on
perfect.
331 system, all that stuff. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Got any more questions?
Well, no, that we got through them all. So I really appreciate everyone throwing the questions in the chat tonight. It really helps focus the call, and we get your questions answered. So if you haven't planned on it, please plan to jump on Alex's call here in about 15 minutes. She's just doing a thorough call. If you have anybody that's interested in the product, get them on this call. She talks about X39 and she talks a bit about the business. So it's a great call to have people on, and really appreciate you guys being here tonight also. So thank you.
Totally. And I'm so sorry I couldn't find the link to download the next presentation, but I will find it. I promise we'll get it posted. All right. Thank you all so much.
Well, thank you guys. Have a great night. Thank you as always.
All right. I'll see y'all soon.
Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thanks, Aaron. That was awesome.
Thank you. Okay. I'll talk to you soon.
You bet.